Health anxiety is probably the most common anxiety disorder. If you go into any hospital emergency department, there will likely be someone there who has nothing physically wrong with them, but their anxiety has caused physical symptoms that have scared them into going to hospital. Often people with health anxiety or panic disorder report feeling embarrassed or frustrated with themselves after being discharged from hospital after being told it's just anxiety. But the next time the anxiety symptoms and negative thoughts come, they soon find themselves back at the hospital or the doctors. So how can you stop this cycle of hospital visits or doctor's appointments, and is there anything you can learn from the experience? In this video I'm going to explain how this cycle works, how to break this cycle, and I will also give you some tools to help deal with the negative thoughts. First, let's look at the anxiety cycle. It starts with the negative thought. For example, what if I have a heart attack and die? The thought makes you feel anxious. That anxiety leads to physical symptoms like an increased heart rate, and you become aware of your heart beating in your chest. This makes you want to do something to reassure yourself. So you Google, "Are palpitations a sign of a heart attack?" And before long you find something that confirms palpitations can be a sign of a heart attack. The attempt to reassure yourself has actually increased your anxiety. So the anxiety cycle goes around again. Now your thought changes from, what if I have a heart attack, to, maybe I am having a heart attack. You feel more anxious, the heart gets faster, and you might start sweating. So you feel an even stronger urge to reassure yourself. So you measure your blood pressure. But this makes things worse because it shows that your heart is at 130 beats per minute and your blood pressure is high. By the way, see my video on blood pressure anxiety to understand why this happens. The blood pressure reading sends you into a panic. So the cycle goes round again, and before you know it, you're back at the hospital where you were told it's just anxiety once again. The only way to break this cycle is to resist the reassurance-seeking behaviours which fuel the anxiety, but this is hard to do. The problem is that the part of the brain that causes anxiety and drives these behaviours is the most primitive part of the brain, known as the limbic system. But let's just call it the anxious brain. But there is another part of our brain which deals with logic. If you can get the logical brain to overrule the anxious brain, then it is possible to resist the reassurance behaviours. This is where hospital visits can be put to a more positive use. The logical brain likes things it can read, write or type. That's how we learn things at school. So create a form in a notebook that looks like this. So the form is called a worry record. In the first section, write down all the thoughts you had, including both the initial thoughts and the final thoughts before you went to hospital. Then in the next section, you rate between 1 and 10 how strong your belief was that these worrying thoughts were right. In the symptoms section, write down what physical symptoms you had. In the reassurance behaviour section, write down what you did to reassure yourself. In the conclusions section, write down what the doctor or hospital said, and if you had any tests, what were the results. Then reflect on your experience. In this section, write down what you learnt. In the new belief section, re-rate how strong is your belief that the worrying thoughts were right now after the event. Let's look at an example. Think back to the last time that you went to hospital or the doctors because of health anxiety. So the thought may have been, I might have a heart attack. Then evolving into these palpitations might mean I'm having a heart attack. And then I'm actually having a heart attack. And finally I'm going to die. Your belief would have been very strong, so you may have rated it as 10 out of 10. Your symptoms may have been racing heart, palpitations in the chest and neck, sweating, difficulty breathing. The reassurance behaviours that you may have used could have been Googled, can palpitations be the sign of a heart attack? You may have asked people on Facebook to reassure you that you were not having a heart attack. And finally, you would have gone to the hospital. The conclusion would probably have been, it was just anxiety. The ECG and blood tests were probably normal. Now, if you were to reflect on your experience, you may write, even though I thought I was having a heart attack, I know now that it was just anxiety. And if you were to re-rate your belief, you may still worry that they missed something, but you probably know that it was not a heart attack, so you may reduce your belief down to a 6. You will find that your belief has been reduced by the doctor's reassurance, but this is only temporary. The action of going to the hospital will have strengthened your long-term belief that there is something wrong with you. Soon your belief will be back to 10 and you'll be back at the hospital. So we really need to stop these hospital or doctor visits and all the reassurance behaviours that lead to them. This is where the worry record comes in. Now, if you fill in this form each time you go to the hospital or the doctors, you will build up quite a lot of evidence against your worrying thought. The next time these worrying thoughts come, instead of going onto Google, look through your worry records. Try to use what you have learned from past experiences to resist the reassurance behaviours that you have learned make the anxiety so much worse. So far, you have filled the form in retrospectively, after the doctor has given you the all clear. Now, as soon as you get the worrying thought, fill in a worry record and keep updating it as the day and the anxiety progresses. You will find that it will really make you stop and think before you do any damaging reassurance behaviours. Resisting the reassurance behaviours is hard, and filling in a worry record when anxious is also hard. You may end up back at the hospital, but don't be disheartened. You can still learn from the experience. If you stopped filling in the worry record because you were in a panic, just complete it when you get home and the panic has passed. But do complete it. Persevere. And keep doing this even if it means you have a mountain of worry records. The more you engage your logical brain, the better chance it has of overriding your anxious brain. When you are able to resist your reassurance-seeking behaviours, you will find that your anxiety lessens. This is not instant. It takes many months to retrain an anxious brain, but over time the worry thoughts will become less frequent and weaker. After a month or two of being able to resist your reassurance-seeking behaviours, look back at some of your old worry records. You may find that you have not had some of the specific worry thoughts for quite a while, and this will motivate you to keep resisting reassurance-seeking behaviours linked to other things you worry about. Worry records are one of several tools for overcoming anxiety. Check out my channel for many other tips for anxiety. And please subscribe, like and share my videos so that others can benefit. The key to beating anxiety is knowledge. Let's share that knowledge.